I'm going to be creating the greatest dynasty in NHL history. That is right, boys. We are back with more Chicago Blackhawks GM mode, where we already three-peated in part number 1. Go check it out. It's on my channel. It is where I rebuilt the Blackhawks with Connor Bedard. We have three-peated in the NHL, and we are going for 5 straight, baby. We're going to try to go at least 5 more seasons, see how many Stanley Cups we can win here in NHL 24. Obviously, we are already a dynasty, going 3 straight Stanley Cups. First team to do so since the Islanders in the 80s. But how many more can we win? I asked you guys in the comments if you wanted to see a part 2, and you guys did. So I'm going to be bringing you that here. We'll probably go around 5 to 6 more years and see how many cups we can rack up with Connor Bedard, who's already one of the best players in NHL history. So the first order of business is re-signing the guys we got to get back. We only have $16 million cap space to spend, and Korchinski wants around $10 million. But I mean, we can probably give him that. We might have to let Lukas Reichel walk. How much money is he asking for? Only 3.9. If I can get him down to 3.7, then we can definitely make that work alongside Korchinski, who's asking for a monster contract. Luckily, we do got Kurashev back. He renewed his contract. Lukas Reichel came back, and Kevin Korchinski rejected. He wants to test free agency. Okay. And Kevin Korchinski, after winning 3 straight Stanley Cups, is going to snake us and go to the Calgary Flames. I offered him $11 million, which is more than he was asking for, yet he feels that he was not offered the dollars that he is deserved. What? So as we head into year number 8, we still have Lafreniere at a 91, Bedard and Teuvo Teravainen. Kurashev and Hagens are still back there in our second line with Lukas Reichel. Our third line has Ginla, Kempe, and Kaskamäki. And defensively, we're still rocking with McAvoy, who we did sign in the offseason. He's a 91 overall alongside Hanifin with Zellweger. And honestly, the rest of our decor is pretty rough. We're probably going to have to replace some of these guys as their overalls are pretty low. And in goal, a 91 overall Yaroslav Askarov should be able to get the job done. Now, really, our issue that we are going to run into is the fact that we have 4 guys making like almost $42 million. It's like McAvoy, Hagens, Bedard, Lafreniere, all over $10 million a piece. So most likely, I am going to move Charlie McAvoy in the offseason so we can clear up some cap space. Maybe get a few decent players instead of just having one guy. So yet again, the Blackhawks are going to go ahead and win 50 games. We got 51 on the season. First in our division, also 24 losses, 7 in overtime, 109 points. We realistically, the way we started the season, like 17-2, we probably should have had like a 60-win year, but we fell off near the end. We would end up going on and being the 3rd best team in all of hockey, behind the Devils and Toronto, who did win the President's Trophy. Alex Lafreniere had an absolutely monster season, 47 goals, 109 points. Bedard had 105 and 41 goals. And then there's a big trail off to Teravainen, who had 75, Hagen 74, Kurashev 61, Lukas Reichel was okay. Ginla did have 25 goals and Kempe as well, which I mean is definitely a positive. And Askarov 44, 20 and 5, 2 shutouts, and sadly only a 909 save percentage. Alex Lafreniere will lead the entire NHL in scoring with 109 points. For goals, it will go to Matthews, who had 63 on the season. Thompson had 49, Lafreniere had 47, Norvquist had 44. And on the point side, other than Lafreniere, Matthews is up there. Bedard, of course, had a good season. And Cale Makar, 25 goals, 102 points, as we are going to have to play the Dallas Stars in the first round of the playoffs. We would end up coming back down 3-1 in the series, win a Game 7 on home ice in overtime, and now we have the Colorado Avalanche in the second round, who obviously do have a good team. Even in 2031, we would destroy the Avs in 6 games in the second round, and in the conference finals, we have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers. This should be a very good series. And here we are in our 4th straight Stanley Cup Finals, trying to go for the 4-peat, something again the Islanders did in the 80s. We already have 3. We only need to get 1 here up against the Montreal Canadiens. Can Connor Bedard lead his team to a modern day 4-peat, something that is so unheard of? Well, we just got absolutely dog-walked in the Stanley Cup Finals in 4 games, a clean sweep for Montreal. They absolutely fucking destroyed us. It was not even close. They were by far the better team, and they're going to go on and take home the Stanley Cup. So no 4-peat, but luckily we can rebound and come back next season stronger and better. Oh, that is so disappointing after the playoff run that we had to just lose 4 straight in the finals. Despite the loss, I mean, Bedard was insane. 17 goals, 29 points. Lafreniere had 28, Hagens 26, Reichel 16, McAvoy had 15. Definitely got to move off of his contract in the offseason here. He's also 33 years old, so he is getting up there in age. And sadly, no four-peat for the Blackhawks as Montreal goes on and wins it. Makar is going to take him the Ted Lindsay, Hart Trophy, and Norris Trophy, while the Art Ross will go to Lafreniere and Maurice Richard to Matthews. Cole Caulfield's going to win the Conn Smythe, Swayman the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Northquist. All right, so we're going to be trading Charlie McAvoy, getting rid of his $11.4 million contract for Rope Hintz and Luosterainen. I also threw in some draft picks. Let's see. And luckily, the Dallas Stars have accepted my offer, so we turned McAvoy into 2 different players who can be very valuable to our team. Next thing we got to do is move Teuvo Teravainen. 1 year left on his deal. He's 37 years old, making $8.2 million for a younger Dawson Mercer making less money. He's also got term on his contract. I threw in picks to make it work, and the Boston Bruins have accepted my deal. Next up, because we do have the cap space, I'm going to go after Romanov and Filip Hronek, 2 defensemen that we do need. Our decor is kind of rough at the moment. I will have to give up a first-round pick, also a 5th and a 6th. And the Boston Bruins, again, accept my offer. Now, heading into year number 9, we still have Bedsy, Lafreniere, and Khrushchev. Iginla has moved up to the second line. We got a +5 with him, Hagens, and Reichel. Our third line is very solid as well. And our fourth line is okay. It's not great. Now, defensively, I am going to have to shore up the lines a little bit. Defensively, we got Zellweger, Hanifin, also Hronek and Romanov. And then our middle pair isn't great, but if I move these guys up, then we get a -3 on the second D pair, which I don't want. So I'm going to leave them on the third line D pair. And in goal, we are still rocking with a 90 Askarov in the net. Yet again, the Blackhawks are going to be the best team in their division, going 51, 24, and 7, 109 points. And for the entire NHL, it was the Oilers who did win 54 games. We were not far behind, though. Montreal, the defending champs, won 54. Honestly, that is a little bit scary. We were down 3-1 in the series, but it did not matter. We clawed our way back, forced a Game 7, won a Game 7, 5-0. We actually shut out St. Louis the final 2 games of the series, and now we have the Colorado Avalanche in round number 2. We also beat them in 7 games, and now we move on to the conference finals up against McDavid and the Oilers. And the Chicago Blackhawks, for the 5th straight season in a row, have made the Stanley Cup Finals up against the New Jersey Devils, who, I mean, do have a good overall team. But can we go on and win our 4th Stanley Cup in 5 years and be one of the greatest dynasties in NHL history? The Chicago Blackhawks are going to get it done over the New Jersey Devils in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, winning our 4th in 5 seasons, being an absolute dynasty, one of the best teams ever. I mean, how many 50-win seasons do we have as well? Like 4 straight, something like that. We've been a very good team for a very long time, and the Devils, well, they just ran into Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawk dynasty. As again, Bedsy's going to win the Conn Smythe. 15 goals, 35 points, gets his 4th Conn Smythe of his career. I mean, he's becoming one of the best playoff performers, if not the best, in NHL history, as the Blackhawks are lucky to be able to raise the Stanley Cup in the United Center yet again 4 times. In this simulation, we're not done yet, boys. I gotta go at least a couple more seasons, see how we do. Here comes Bedard. Bedsy, baby, coming to lift it again. 4th time in his career as the Blackhawks have gone all the way. Now, in the postseason, obviously, Bedard was our best player. Absolutely dominant, 35 points. Lucas Reichel had 23. Iginla had 22. So he's growing into a very nice player himself. Hagens had 22. Lafreniere 22. Khrushchev was good, as well as Dawson Mercer. And in goal, Askarov a .924 save percentage. I literally cannot ask for more. 3 shutouts in the postseason as well. And there it is, the absolute dominance of the Chicago Blackhawks. Bedard is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard will go to Leonard. The Norris to Evan Bouchard. Conn Smythe to Bedsy. Peterson is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Northquist of the Carolina Hurricanes. And now it is time to head into season number 10. Make sure we re-sign everybody here, as I do want to get all my great players back. We might run into some cap trouble, honestly. We have a lot of big contracts on our team. Luckily, we do have 21 mil in cap space, and the only guys we got to re-sign are Noah Hanifin, who is 35 years old. I might let him walk. Kempe's 35. He's getting a little worse, as well as Akuri. So I might have to go out in free agency with some cap space to spend and find some guys that we can re-sign. Askarov, we got to get his deal done. 30 years old, 91 overall. And we got Askarov back for 8 years at $8.1 million. I also decided to bring back Hannafin for 1 more year, and Akura is back also. So here in free agency, we do have $9.8 million to spend. So I don't know if I'll go after a big guy or maybe fill in our depth roles a little bit, depending on who is available. We got some guys like Line, 90 overall sniper, is 34 years old, offering $10 million, so I can't get him anyways. But a guy like Fabry, maybe Sandine, I could pick up as a defenseman. And we decided on picking up Fraser Minton, who is like an 88 overall or 87. Now, heading into the 10th season of the simulation, we still got our first line intact. Kurashev, Bedard, and Lafreniere, Hagens, Aginla, and Reichel. 2+5s on our top 6. And then we have Luosterainen, Minton, and Mercer as our third line, which is probably the best third line in the entire NHL. Then Hintz, Connolly, and Akuri on the fourth line. Now, defensively, we are a little bit weaker. We do have a +2 with Whitecloud and Hannafin, but Zellweger will be our best D-man at an 86 overall. Romanov and Moose are down there. And in goal, we have Askarov, who is still a 91 overall, getting up there in age at 30 years old, but he should be good for another 3 seasons at least. Yet again, another domination in the regular season. Really, the regular season is easy to us now. We won 58 games, losing 21 in regulation and 3 in overtime for 119 points. Best in the entire NHL. Another President's Trophy, I believe the 3rd of our head coaching career for whoever the hell our head coach is. I saw he had 2. That's the only reason why I know that. Buffalo was good. Edmonton was up there. New Jersey and Montreal. Connor Bedard's going to have a monster season. 56 goals and 130 points. Hagens had 89. Lafreniere 81. Also 33 goals. Reichel at 74. Kurashev 73. Aginla 68. If we take a look at Askarov, 39, 13, and 3. 2 shutouts and decent stats. I mean, a .907 save percentage is nothing too crazy, especially for a 91 overall goaltender. Bedard is, of course, going to lead the entire NHL in goals with 56 and points with 130, as he is the best player in the world at the moment. Jack Hughes had 99, Kaliev 92. Oh my god, Arthur Kaliev, 89 overall sniper, putting up 192 points. What a season for him. Raymond had 91, Leonard 90, Suzuki 90. So really, we only had one lone 100-point scorer, and that was Mr. Bedsy. And now, in the first round of the playoffs, we are going to be facing the Minnesota Wild. We would end up beating them in 7 games in the first round, and now we have the Colorado Avalanche in the second round. Another Game 7, but luckily we got the job done. We have to be the most clutchest team in NHL history. How many Game 7 victories do we have in this dynasty? And now we got to face the Vancouver Canucks in the conference finals, trying to go back-to-back, and now entering our 6th straight Stanley Cup Finals appearance up against the New Jersey Devils, trying to win our 5th cup of the Bedard era. Will the Chicago Blackhawks do it again, go back-to-back, winning their 5th in this dynasty that I have created here in Chicago? And here it is, Game 7. It all comes down to this. Can we go on and win our 5th Stanley Cup of the Bedard era dynasty? And the Blackhawks are going to get the job done yet again, going on, beating the Devils for the 2nd straight season in the finals. This time in Game 7, it was a lot more competitive, but nonetheless, we win again, and that is our 5th Stanley Cup that we have won in the Bedard era. 6 straight finals appearances is absolutely crazy. I don't think I've ever had this much success in a GM mode or franchise mode, anything like that, as yet again, Connor Bedard, the Conn Smythe winner, 24 goals and 41 points for the kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's in the prime of his career. We are 10 years in, and he might go down as the greatest player of all time. 5 Stanley Cups, 6 straight finals appearances. We could have 6 straight if we didn't lose that one finals to Montreal, where we got absolutely dominated and swept. Nonetheless, though, we're probably going to go on for another 2 more years in the video, as Bedard, another successful season in Chicago, going to be able to raise the Stanley Cup, shattering the Kane and Taves era in Chicago. The Bedsy era was much better, and it honestly could be even better than that. Who knows? Again, in the playoffs, Bedard was magical. 24 goals, 41 points. Take a look at this guy's playoff performances. I mean, holy hell, 260 points in 186 games played. 131 goals in the postseason is absolutely wild. 41 points, 35, 29, 27, 41. I mean, this dude is the definition of a playoff performer, and he's only 27 years old. Iginla had 32 and 12 goals, Hagens 28, Reichel 26, Kurashev 21, Lafreniere only 20. But I mean, offense heavy were the Chicago Blackhawks. We just absolutely fill the net. And that goddamn 1 year where we lost to Montreal, ruining my dynasty. Not really ruining it, but still, we could have had 6 in a row. Bedard is going to take home all the major individual awards. Evan Bouchard, the Norris, obviously Bedsy, the Conn Smythe, Peterson, the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Fantilli. This is probably the biggest offseason of the video. We got to re-sign Connor Bedard, and honestly, a lot of good guys on our team might not be coming back because their contracts are up. We'll have to see how much cap space we do have to spend. The first order of business, of course, is getting Bedard re-signed. Well, it looks like Connor Bedard is asking for the biggest NHL contract in the history of the league. $17 million for 7 years. There's no way I give him that, right? We got to try to get him down to at least like 15 mil. 17 is absolutely bonkers. There's no way. Now, as we head into year 11, we still have that lethal first line. Now with Hagens, Bedard, and Lafreniere +5. Our second line is a +5 too. With Reichel, Iginla, and Kurashev, we got Mercer, Minton, and Stenberg. And our fourth line is okay. It's not great defensively. I had to work on an absolute overhaul in the offseason because in free agency, we had literally one defender to our name. All the defensemen, I checked across the NHL. Nobody has good D-man anymore because we got like 83 overalls making like $7.1 million for some reason. No team has like a stud D-core, but I went out. We got some guys. This Okposo guy, he's young, only 18 years old, medium elite potential. So I'm hoping he can grow into something. At least something good. He's got 3 years left on his deal at only $1 million. And of course, in goal, Askarov dropped down to a 90 overall, so we might have to replace him in the upcoming seasons if he continues to just decrease and decrease year after year. I honestly have no idea what happened, but Chicago fell off the face of the earth. Dead last in the Central, 32, 39, and 11. Only 75 points on the season. A very disappointing year after, making the Stanley Cup Finals for the last, 5-6 seasons. And now we're not even going to make the playoffs. Colorado is the best team in our division with 52 wins for the entire NHL. It was the Avs. Montreal was up there. Buffalo was very good. Edmonton and Detroit. Despite missing the playoffs, Bedard's still going to have a great season. 48 goals, 108 points. He was a -21, which is honestly kind of rough. Hagens at 81. Iginla, 77 and 32 goals. Lafreniere, only 73. Reichel, 62. Kurashev was okay, I guess. And for Askarov, 26, 31, and 2 shutouts, and he had an absolutely horrible year. So yeah, heading into next season, we're probably going to get rid of Askarov. I don't know what I'm going to get back for him, in all honesty, but we'll do one more season. We got one more year left here in Chicago, trying to win one final Stanley Cup of the Bedard era. Bedard is going to lead the NHL in scoring, and for goals, it will go to Austin Matthews, who had 53. Bedard was right behind him with 48 on the season. Holtz had 46, Demidov 46, Robertson 46. As the Montreal Canadiens would end up getting it done in 6 games over the Avs in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Cup is coming back to Montreal. The Chicago Dynasty might honestly be over. Montreal was the only team to beat us during our run, and now they got another Stanley Cup. Casper is going to win the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy, the Art Ross to Bedsy, and Maurice Richard to Matthews, while the Norris will go to Cale Makar. Slavkovsky is going to win the Conn Smythe. Lennox, the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Adam Fantilli. Now in the re-sign phase, we have $18 million in cap space, but we do got to get back Mercer, Minton, and Iginla. Iginla's definitely going to be wanting a big boy deal at an 89 overall at 27 years of age. Everybody else is pretty much locked up on our team defensively, or goalies, I should say. Askarov is falling off a cliff. 88 overall at 32 years old. I'm going to try to upgrade him in the offseason, maybe a cheaper goaltender. EA Sports, what is going on? An 89 overall is asking for $13 million? Like, what am I supposed to do here? I literally have to give him this or he's going to walk. There's no chance we get Mercer. Mercer's asking for only 4.6, which is honestly not bad. Minton is asking for 3.2, so maybe we can't get them back because these guys are not being selfish like Iginla and taking up a majority of the cap. I gave Dawson Mercer the contract he wanted. He rejected. Fraser Minton decided to reject as well. All right, so since Askarov has been falling off a bit, I'm going to try to trade him straight up for Devin Levi. I'm going to throw in a first-round pick just to make sure it goes through. As this is the final season, I won't be needing any more picks. Devin Levi is a year younger, already a 90 overall, makes less money as well. That frees up some cap space. And the Buffalo Sabres, luckily, Have no problem with my offer. All right, so as we head into the final season of the video, we got a Koliak, who's a 91 with Bedard, and Lafreniere, a 96 and 90. Kurashev's up to an 85 with Hagens and Reichel. +5 on our top 6, which is perfect. Our third line's actually very good with Minton, Steenberg, and Connolly. And then our fourth line isn't the greatest, but that's okay. Now, defensively, we're really rough. Our best defenseman literally is an 84 overall, but I tried to go out, try to find a D-man that could fit on our lines, but it really never worked out. So we'll have zeros across the board, and defense is definitely our weak point. And in goal, a 90 overall Devin Levi replacing Askarov. I mean, Levi had a 907 last year. He's been okay, I guess, over the last like 5 years, but I mean, Askarov was falling off a cliff. He was dropped down to an 88 overall at 32 years old, so we needed a better overall goalie. We got him. Hopefully Levi can be the guy to bring us back to the promised land, or is this the end of the dynasty? Now, Chicago is going to have a bounce-back season, making the playoffs. 42, 31, and 9, 93 points. Minnesota was the best team in our division, and for the entire NHL, it was the Devils winning 52 games. Philadelphia was good. Buffalo was up there, San Jose, and Minnesota. Connor Bedard, absolutely electric season. 65 goals, 112 points. Honestly, really carrying our franchise right now. He's still only 29 years old, not even 30 yet. Lafreniere is a 74, also 21 goals on the season. Koliak at 72, Hagen 68, was a -16 though. Kurashev at 52, Reichel 50, Minton at 46, and in goal, Devin Levi, 32, 24, and 6. 3 shutouts, and he rocked a 913, which I can live with. Much better than Yaroslav Askarov, what he had us last season with like an 898 save percentage. Bedard will lead the entire NHL in goals with 65 and points with 112. As unfortunately for us, we're going to have to play the Minnesota Wild, who won like 52 games on the year. Definitely have a very good roster over there in the state of hockey, but this is our final playoff run. Can we work some magic? We would manage to beat Minnesota in Game 7. Now we have the Winnipeg Jets in the second round. We took care of business in 6 games in Winnipeg, and now we have the San Jose Sharks, who are up 1-0 over us right now. We are 4 wins away from going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. And the Chicago Blackhawks have made the Stanley Cup Finals yet again, up against the New Jersey Devils. This is our 7th Stanley Cup Final of the Bedard era, trying to win our 6th. Are we going to be able to go out on a high note, or are we losing in the Stanley Cup Finals? And the Chicago Blackhawks have done it. They have completed the greatest dynasty in NHL history. 7 Stanley Cups in 8 years, I believe. And we would end up taking home 6 Stanley Cups in that time frame here in the Windy City of Chicago. The United Center is absolutely rocking. Bedard era in Chicago. Literally the best dynasty of all time. I don't know. Maybe perhaps. Bedard again, the Conn Smythe winner. 17 goals, 51 points. He saved his best postseason for the last. And you guys let me know in the comments below. Is this the greatest dynasty of all time in NHL history? I mean, I think it has to be, no? What dynasty was better? You say 80s, or maybe even go way back to the Montreal Canadiens winning how many Stanley Cups in a row. This is in a much tougher era compared to back then, and the Blackhawks have done it against all odds. Even missed the playoffs last season. We came back, rebounded, had a very good regular season, and went all the way in the postseason as Bedard raising the Stanley Cup yet again as a Stanley Cup champion, a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. And he's not even 30 yet. Connor Bedard might actually be the greatest player of all time. 17 goals, 51 points. Let's take a look at his postseason numbers here. We did this not that long ago, but still 311 points in 210 games. Literally had 51 points in a single postseason, 24 goals 2 years ago. I mean, what else can you say about this guy? He's going down as easily a top 5, maybe even top 3 player in NHL history. Even his regular season numbers are very good. 1,280 points in only 984 games. Almost 600 goals. He'll probably be close to Gretzky by the end of his career, in all honesty. But I mean, the Bedard era in Chicago will go down as the most memorable one, even better than Kane and Taves. And there it is. It's up to you guys in the comments below. Let me know, is this the greatest dynasty of all time? If not, who is? Robertson's going to win the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy. Art Ross and Maurice Richard to Bedsy. The Norris to McCarron. The Conn Smythe, of course, also to Bedard. Lennox is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to this guy from the Senators. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. I have created the greatest dynasty in NHL history here with Chicago. Obviously, we were so successful over the time here. I've only been here for, what, 12 years? Went to 7 Stanley Cup Finals, won 6 of them. Just absolute dominance from Bedard and Chicago. So I would like to say thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see next, and don't be silly. Wrap your willy.